This is my Priority Current e-bike, 2024 model. It's before they had the option to add a throttle. It's pedal assist, has 5 assist levels plus a walk mode. 27.5-inch tires. It came without any racks, no frame bag. It came with a stock saddle and a stock handlebar. I changed out the saddle and the handlebar and added the 2 racks. So I added the front rack. That's an Old Man Mountain divide rack, and it connects to the through axle. It's a special through axle I bought from also Old Man Mountain through the Robert Axle Project company. I understand it holds up to about 55 pounds. I think it's advertised 70, but I wouldn't put that much on a front fork. The bike handles well. The range varies. If I want to just use a higher assist level, I can get about 25 to 30 miles out of it in Assist 3 on relatively flat towpath surface. But in Assist 1, I've got about 50 miles. Assist 2, roughly 45 miles. Just depends on how many hills there are. Now, Assist 4 and 5, I've usually reserved that for hillier terrain and only use that on hills. But I added the B67 saddle. You see it has the springs. This last trip, I found out it was squeaking pretty bad, so after the trip I realized what it was and I oiled it up. The metal contacts were squeaking, rubbing. So I took care of that by oiling it, lubing it up. It has the belt drive, has a Gates carbon belt, has a 500 watt motor, and it's plenty powerful. It's got about 140 advertised Newton meter force, 27.5-inch wheels, 36 spokes. I added connectors so that I can use a bob trailer, or if I want to switch it to a kid trailer, I can do that as well. I modified a little bit, putting this rack on. This is the Tubus Cargo Evo rack, and it'll hold about 50 pounds, but I only put about 30 or so on there. I tried to modify so I can put some different things on there. For instance, I can put a flagpole. Right here I made that. And I also made another flagpole holder at an angle. I made this extension so that I can add a light a little bit further back from the wheel. Just notice where that is. Now if I had left it where I could put the light on the rack, it would be into the wheel pretty much. So I wanted to get it back further. So that's why I made this PVC holder. I also had to raise the handlebar and get it back a little bit further, closer to me, so I can get a more upright position. So this is the Jones 2.5-inch rise H-bar. And it is marvelous. It does exactly what it was advertised to do. So it raised it up and got it back. Before that, it was very difficult to ride. The seat itself comes with an offset already. I think it's about 20 millimeters setback. But what else can I say about it? It's got a 500 watt battery, and I bought 2 extra batteries. This last trip, I carried 1 spare battery, but I'm going to definitely carry 2 spare batteries so that I don't have to worry about where I'm going to charge because of riding on the towpath or just in between towns, you know, where I will be. But I had plenty of power with the original plus a spare, but I did have to stop and charge once just to make sure I had enough. On the handlebar, I added a couple of optional things. Mirrors, which I would say is not really optional. You definitely want a mirror. I added 2 mirrors. Some people wear it on their helmet or on their glasses, but I like it here. I have a pretty good vision of it, and it doesn't really wobble too much. I also like this cup holder I added. It's from Amazon, and it holds this Yeti 24-ounce insulated tumbler, which is an excellent add-on. I haven't really added anything else to the bike other than what you see here, but I use 4 panniers normally, and then I put a chair and my spare batteries on the back. On the front, I've been putting a soft cooler using some straps that I got, and they work just perfect. So overall, I would say this is an excellent bike if you're going to be looking for a bicycle. The only problem is you don't want to run out of power, or else it's going to be very difficult to pedal. Even without gear on it, it's a higher gear range, and I think it's the motor resistance or something in there that causes extra resistance, making it more difficult to pedal. Now, my solution is going to be adding a roll-off hub so I can have 526% gear range. So that'll drop me down to about a 16, well up to about 100 gear inch range. Right now, it only goes down to about 33 about 34 gear inches, let's say. And even that's not real low if you want to use it without power. But it's a little bit difficult trying to pedal it without power. So don't run out of power. So what else can I say about it? I do like the frame bag. All my bikes, I would love to have a frame bag on, but this is the only one I have so far. And it's a zipper on both sides. Just don't realize how much extra use a frame bag has until you have it. That's it. Oh, I forgot to mention, the rear hub is an NVOLO hub. Priority offers a 5-speed Shimano hub, but it's a little bit even higher in the lowest gear range. I think around 38 gear inches. This NVOLO hub, it only has a 380% gear range, so it only goes down to about 34 gear inches. Not low enough to really pedal without power. But as I mentioned, my solution is going to be building a rear wheel with a roll-off hub to expand it to a 526% gear range. See if that'll work. I'm sure it will. I've read up on it, and I believe that'll be my solution. It'll be an expensive solution, around a couple $1,000s for the wheel, but roll-off hubs, they last quite a while. And I read the NVOLO hub they have on here. It's a heavy-duty version, and it'll be pretty much bomb-proof as well. It just doesn't have low enough gear inches for me, because my hope was to pedal this without power at times. So that's it. Priority Current e-bike. If you're looking for a priority bike, e-bike, I would recommend the one they have now. It's a plus version. They added a throttle to theirs, and also they added a little bit larger battery to about 710 or 720 watts. This battery is a 500 watt. The bike itself, I understand, weighs stock at about 55 pounds with the NVOLO hub. With what's added here, it's about 65 pounds. My gear, my camping gear, and all that I put on here, my 4 panniers, my chair, extra spare batteries, a little cooler on the front, all that weighs anywhere from about 45 to about 60 pounds, plus the 7 pounds per each spare battery. Add my weight to this, along with the gear weight extra batteries, the bike weight, it's pushing around 425 pounds. So that's a lot of weight on the wheels. So I try to minimize what weight I put on the rear rack. So I try to keep it around 25 pounds in my panniers when I want to put two spare batteries on there. So that's about 200 pounds per wheel, way it's divided up. And I've been breaking spokes recently on the rear hub. I hadn't broke a spoke at all for like a year, but I wrecked and I wiped out, and I think that's what caused my rear spokes to start breaking in the back. I think it stressed, by the time I realized I broke spokes, I think it stressed more spokes, and I've actually replaced 8 spokes so far. But I haven't had to replace any more spokes for quite a while. So I'm hoping that I've got all that worked out. And it's still pretty true. It doesn't wobble too hardly at all. So that's why I think it's still true. But the bike still operates well. And replacing the spokes is really easy, especially with this Enviola hub. The hub itself, the spoke holes are out further where I can just slide them right in and work them in between the spokes that are there and replace it. I don't even have to take the wheel off. The nipples on the rim stay in place, and I did have to modify an SW2, the red spoke wrench. This one is in between the 2 and 3 size. The spoke nipples are, at least on this particular bike. So whether they sourced out different size spoke nipples, I'm not sure, but I had to modify and grind out the spoke wrench for the rear wheel. I've never had to replace any in the front, and I never really tried to verify what size the spoke wrench it takes. But overall, I am definitely satisfied with this bike. I do wish at times it had the throttle, but to add it, it would be nearly impossible because you'd have to change the controller. And I understand it's the same motor, but everything else would be slightly different because the way the firmware would have to be reprogrammed, and Priority just doesn't sell the throttle with the controller and everything separate. So if I really wanted to throttle that bad, I'd have to sell this bike and buy another bike. They sell the current Plus for the same price I bought this one. So if you're into a bike and you need a bike, I would definitely go with this current model. The current Plus has the throttle, a little bit larger battery. So I'm definitely sold on it, and Priority is a good company. I've had excellent customer service, and everybody has been very responsive. So thank you, Priority Bicycles, all that you've done for me. And when I'm not riding this bike, I'm riding my Surly Disc Trucker, and I'm also riding another Priority bike, the 600 ADX. It's the 12-speed gear, pinion gearbox with the Gates carbon drive belt. Pretty much like this, but just no motor. Very nice bike. Both of them are.